Hello, Recon87 here, and welcome back to Combat Mission Black Sea. We are continuing our Russian assault on the Ukrainian checkpoint. So we are just over kind of halfway through this encounter, and things are going relatively well so far. So in the previous episodes, we have pushed, main thrust of our push has been up this left-hand side, and we have now in firm control of the entire left-hand edge of the map, and in doing so have displaced a number of Ukrainian infantry squads and caused some, although unknown, number of casualties. In addition, we've been giving a tentative probe up the right hand side through this heavily wooded area, and we're about kind of halfway up the map thus far. In terms of casualties inflicted on both sides, I'd say we're slightly ahead. So far we have inflicted 4 APC losses on the Ukrainians, plus some unknown infantry soldier casualties, and on losses we have suffered 2 BMPs losses, as well as 1 rifle squad who was unfortunately in one of the BMPs. Towards the end of the last video, the Ukrainians received some reinforcements in terms of armoured support, which is where we lost our second BMP. And now our focus is how we are then going to deal on this armoured reinforcement before we kind of push in and seal the objectives. There's a few things I want to talk about before we kind of jump into the action. So let's address those first. So, firstly, those of you who are been paying close attention will be querying as to why I said 4 APCs we've taken out on the Ukrainian side. As you know, we took out 1 back here from, in fact it was combined, 2 of our tanks hit it separately. We took out 1 APC there. We took a second APC out here. Actually, I think they might actually be infantry fighting vehicles, IFVs, rather than APCs, but I will use my acronyms interchangeably and usually incorrectly. Anyway, we took 1 out here with a tank round, and then we took a 3rd one all the way back here with some concentrated mortar fire. However, I was doing a little bit of looking around just before starting recording, and I noticed this one in here. So we have actually taken out a 4th AFV, I'm going to call it now, and that seems to be just through the spray from our mortars from this position. So I think actually some of the spotting shells, which were slightly off our intended target, have taken out an FE, so that was incredibly fortunate. I also want to do a little bit of chat on the Ukrainian armor reinforcement. So here's one of said tanks. And I'd say at the time when it turned up, I didn't know what Ukrainian tanks were, and I did made some reference to being called a T81, which is incorrect, and I'm sure those of you better informed were scoffing at my ignorance about the naming. So, first off, the D81 is just an alternative name for the 125mm cannon that's loaded onto a tank. I think it's a D81 TM is just another name for it, so that's completely irrelevant to the model of tank. So that's out of the way. So secondly, in Combat Mission Black Sea, the Ukrainian forces have access to 3 main battle tanks. We've got the T64 BV, which is a slightly upgraded version of T64, T64 BM Bulat, which is I don't know why I put that funny accent on, but anyway, it's the very modernised version of T64, and then they have the BM Oplat, I think it is, which is the very modernised version of the T84. So we can tell from this kind of top-mounted machine gun position that this is either T64 BV or the BM Bulat, so based on the T64. So of course I could jump into a quick battle, load up of Ukrainian forces, fire me a couple of those tanks, and really kind of ponder what the differences are. But I'm willing to play with a little bit of ignorance here. So I'll say I know it's a T64 variant, but I don't know if it's the kind of older or the more modernised version. In terms of what the modernisation brings, so what the kind of worst case scenario will be, it's not, maybe doesn't change our game plan too dramatically, so it does give it some better explosive reactor armour defence, also upgrades the fire control systems, obviously better at spotting and engaging, and upgraded main gun as well, so some different variety of munitions, which again are more effective. But doesn't add anything different in terms of thermal sights or active protection systems for kind of anti-missile work or anything like that, which is going to change our game plan too dramatically. There's 2 more things I want to mention. So firstly, on active protection systems, so let's jump down here to my T90s. So I think I was talking about T90s a fair few videos ago, and I mentioned their Stora system, and I referred to it as an active protection system. That was incorrect. Without delving far too, into technical details, it's essentially, rather than being an active protection system which launches a projectile at an incoming missile, it uses electronic warfare to try and divert the missile. So, same intent in terms of protection from anti-tank guided missiles, however, works in a very different way, and for technical reasons I'm not going to get into in this video, is less effective than some of the other actual APS systems. So that was just a quick correction. And final thing I want to talk about, before we jump into real detail, is our trusty BMP3s. So I did rewatch Usually Hapless's fantastic video on the BMP3, so anyone who does not know his YouTube channel, thoroughly recommend checking out. Some high quality combat mission content on there, and he does a lot of very good in-depth kind of technical analysis of various vehicles throughout all the games. So I think he did this maybe about a month or so ago. I watched it at the time, but I rewatched it recently, and it did cause me a little bit of concern. So I have been planning essentially on this BMP3 here, making the spot on this tank, which is charging up our right hand side, and then utilising one of its ATGMs to knock it out. Having reviewed that video, apparently it seems that the TACI, so that's the essentially computer control of the unit, seems to preferentially use its 30mm cannon, using its sabot rounds against vehicles rather than the guided missiles, which I'm not going to rate as going to be hugely effective against the kind of front armour of a main battle tank. So while I was hoping he would get a spot, launch a missile, and all would be well with the world, what we may find is he makes the spot, assuming he makes the spot, his autocannon does some ancillary damage, and then he gets taken out by the main gun. But despite knowing that, I'm going to keep it there and see what happens. But given that I might not be the greatest defense in the world, I've got brought in my T90 as well to kind of come in and take position to hopefully help out if the BMP3 does not make it. I think I exercised some frustration at the end of the last video with the kind of spotting, because as you see, it does seem to have a fairly clear line of sight to where the tank is, but has not made a positive spot. And I know it does say kind of spotter kind of is obscured hull down, so it's a kind of two-man crew if there's a driver and a gunner, and so obviously I would hazard the driver's optics are obscured by this mound. However, there's kind of three reasons which are driving my frustration for not being able to make this spot. The first being, but it's an armoured vehicle in an open field, so it's a large structure which should be relatively easy to spot compared to, say, some infantry. Secondly, it is actively moving, so that's not only going to make a more visible target, but it's also going to kick up dust and be easier to spot. And thirdly, it actually fired off some shells at the end of last round, which is, again, a kind of massive visual identification and should really help out with spotting. So I am frustrated that these guys haven't found it yet. On the plus side, if we also do get any spots with our infantry squads, because these guys are all part of the same platoon, they will pass spotting information through their communication networks. Also, they've all got radios, and the closer they are in the OOB, then the easier the information gets passed between them. These guys are all in the same kind of platoon, so they'll get passed on much quicker. Right, so that's the preamble. Now on to what are we actually planning for the next couple of minutes. So, as I said, keep him here. I'm going to kind of hope he makes the spot, but not change too much. Bring in the T90 in terms of additional support. The only real change I've made is I've broken off an anti-tank team, and I'm going to try and just maybe get them to come out to Edgewood. So we've got just a walk command just to bring them forward a scooch, and then this kind of slow, which essentially is going to be a crawl on their bellies to the edge of this wood, where hopefully they'll get a spot on that tank. In terms of our anti-tank capability, so our main capability is RPG-7. I don't rate its chances particularly well against a main battle tank, especially from the front. Even then from the sides, I'm not convinced it's going to do, it's going to knock it out. Might cause some damage to the subsystems, might get a mission kill, but pretty chancy. However, we do also carry with us an RPG-26, which is kind of like a one-shot anti-tank weapon, and that is much more effective. And so I'm hoping they can utilize that to take out the tank. But we'll have to see what they choose to utilize. So that'll be interesting. So there's the, here we go. There's the RPG-7 there. So rocket propelled grenades. Looks as expected. Whereas we've got, there's the RPG-26. It's more, I suppose more bazooka. Fires off. It's like a tandem heat warhead. We're getting into more of the technical details where I'm highly likely to say something wrong, so I'll skip that. But anyway, so I've broken those guys off, scooching forward, hopefully they'll get the shot. Other bits, so I have also got this BMP to target the dregs of that infantry squad there, so some of his air burst HE shells will knock those guys out. And I have decided that when I'm going to let them, I can't adjust the mission just yet, but once the spotting rounds come in, try and adjust him onto a more target point for the tank. And hopefully it's what 120mm mortars can do enough to penetrate the top of that tank, which I don't actually know off the top of my head, but we can find out. Meanwhile, this infantry squad, which have been kind of sneaking up on this building, I'm just going to hold them at this edge. I'm slightly worried about pushing them all the way in case they get blown to smithereens by this tank. So I'm going to bring them forward, and then I might scoot like the HQ team, or even break off a scout team and just have them scoot in, just so it's not quite so many people, so we can get some better eyes. Speaking of better eyes, I have also issued orders for our drone just to move its area of operations just into this corner here. We'll see what we can see. And I think that wraps up it. So we're at 12 minutes in. I've not even hit the go button yet, which is not ideal. So let's do that and see if we can find ourselves a tank. So I'm not actually sure who he was shooting at last turn. Obviously you can see some explosive marks here, but these guys are fairly in the wood. Oh, first casualties, and that goes on our anti-tank team. We've just split off. Not ideal. Again, apparently no one can see who this chap is. Oh, we've got some more infantry spots which our BMPs are dealing with. Wow. How have we not even seen it yet? Come on. Frustrated. There you go. So that BMP is taken out without even knowing what hit it. But this right. This tank is supposedly here. In fact, let's where did that round come from? Let's see if we see it. No, we don't see it fire off. But come on, I've got an infantry unit here, and apparently they don't know where this tank is. Frustrating. Frustrating. Okay. Let's see what happens. See if he comes out, or if he pushes further down. I wonder if he'll pop out here. Just our BMP rounds going out. I can't believe we don't have this spot though. Oh, looks like he's pushing through. That's interesting. I don't know if that's a shell round or a mortar round. We were calling in mortars earlier. To not much avail. Oh, finally. Okay. Oh my god. So he's come through and he has spotted our tank, and we're getting obviously this laser warning sign. This guy's being an absolute machine. And then we're gonna hit the 1 second. And that's time. So he is like to pop smoke and reverse back the way. Insane. Right, let's jump into command phase. That's wild. I cannot believe, genuinely can't believe how far this tank's come down before we made the spot. Right, couple of things. First off, our anti-tank's going in the wrong way. So let's cancel your current orders. And yes, you have got a slight casualty. I would quite like you to hunt down to here. Meanwhile, who've we got close here? You guys break off an anti-tank team. Let's see if you can't jog up to this side and then hunt up to there. And hopefully one of you guys will be able to put a rocket, not quite the right word, but an anti-tank thing into the side of that. Meanwhile, you, buddy, need to change where you're going and come back this way. Please come back here and then push up that way. Although we've got these two BMP here. Let's cancel your target. Don't know if you've quite done enough, but it was some damage. And you are in a world of trouble. I mean, yeah. I don't know how much damage they can do against the side armor of a T-64. What I find is quite amazing. So we've got T90s, so we have even more modern tanks. This guy has been trundling down here, firing, doing all knows what. We've been sat not moving, and yet we got spotted first. And now we'll see what his reaction is. Quite possibly could get taken out. Frustrating. Right, I'm not doing it too long. All things I want to do is break off the scout team. Cute, and then just get you guys to jump into roof level, see what you can see. Good. Well, ish. Bit of a turning block. Alright. Let's keep going and see what happens with our tank. I'm worried. There's a laser warning. There's a smoke. There's a round. Okay. So what happened there? Let's go back and watch this because it's irrelevant to what I was talking about before. So you can see incoming. Oh, here we go. This anti-tank guided missile. And you'll have noticed as it gets closer, it's done all sorts of crazy thing and veered off. And that's because the Stora system I was talking about, it uses electronic warfare to confuse the missiles and make them go off target. So that's good. So tank is alive. He does also have thermal vision. But apparently he's still not making that spot. So, yeah, okay. Move back over this way. Spin round C. Get dust kicked up from that backdraft. See if any of our ATGM, no, our anti-tank teams can get into position this minute. Give this guy a bit of a bad day. I mean, that's a nice little ambush we've got going on. If it wasn't for the fact he's taking pot shots at our tank. Well, it's a tank. How difficult is it to see? I suppose dangers of rushing forward with no infantry support. And yes, he did obviously get a mission kill, not mission kill, a complete kill on BMP3. If we can take out one of his main battle tanks for that, I will take it. Okay, just gonna. Again, I think that might be on artillery coming. Who's got that spot? Scouts. I mean, our scouts are good. They're spotting everything, but. Need someone with a weapon to actually spot him. I don't think it's going to happen this minute, but surely he's not far off. Okay. Alright, all things considered, that wasn't the worst thing in the world. We did got away with it with our T90. It's in a reasonable position, and I think our infantry teams should be able to finish the job. Our sole survivor from our BMP. It's fine, I'll just leave you there. Right, I'll just get you to continue to move up. You should be continuing to move up the team. I'll hold everyone where they are as those two anti-tank teams get into position. How is our mortar rounds getting on? What position are we at now? Receiving, can only ceasefire. Okay, so we will wait and we'll adjust it as required. You're in position, can't see a whole lot of anything. That's fine. I think the key to unlocking it's really going to be taking out that tank. Really goes without saying. So I think not much to do except advance. And let's see if we can't get ourselves our first tank kill. Hopefully not take our first tank loss. I think the smoke will hang around for a little bit. Oh, here we go. Right, surely. Here he is. Nice! Nice! Oh, that's timing. That is good. Right, I'm going to watch that again. Best thing about playing in WeGo versus real time is you have to rewind it and watch these things again. Oh, I could not have timed that better if I tried. So I wonder what he... I'm going to see what he uses for this. Oh no, so he's only got his RPG-7, so it is okay from the side. Just see what you use. Okay. Let's see if you've still got it afterwards. So you've got... yeah, four rounds on your RPG. There you go, lies down, lines up a shot. Let's do the man justice. I mean, let's be honest. How could he miss? Nicely done. Oh, so this guy's actually... So RPG man's gone first. And then he's going to line up a shot with his RPG 26. Here he goes. Maybe? No, we've decided they are dead. And we're not going to do it. So we've had two guys bail out, I think. Our infantry squad's going to take care of them. Hopefully, I don't... yeah, there's one down. Where's the other guy gone? Not sure. Hopefully he'll be so spooked. Oh, he's miles over here. Okay, good. He's thoroughly spooked and will soon become a casualty. There we go. Good lad. Excellent. One dead Ukrainian tank. Perfect. Good. That was in a very, very successful minute. I'm very happy with that. And so, let us continue. Let's jump to command phase. So, with this tank taken out, feeling a lot more secure with this right hand side, so I'm going to continue my infantry push up these trees, and I'm even going to bring one of these BMPs in into this side, provide some additional cover. So I will go, I'll jump away, I'll give all those orders offline, and we will come back when we're about ready to jump into the next minute. Okay, and welcome back. So I have issued the movement orders for this platoon. I said I'm going to bring one BMP in here to support. I've also got the second BMP just putting a round on this lone survivor for a minute just to clear out the rest of that squad. And I have adjusted the mortar fire mission, or it will start adjusting anyway from a big area down to a point target on the tank. That's about all the changes I've made, so we'll just play forward the next mission. Next minute. Might be a little bit quiet. Next couple of minutes. Really until these mortars start coming down. It's our 100mm airburst rounds, which should make short round of whoever's left hiding over here. I mean, crawling along the middle of the road, it's bold, I'll give them that much. Okay, still making progress. Oh, okay, things are not quiet. Things are not quiet in the slightest. Come on, T90 there, can you spot him? No, he hasn't spotted him. Oh, this is... oh, ha, he got the spot. Yes. Brilliant. There you go, he decided to get rangy and come roaming out. Maybe he knew the mortars were down. But anyway, so we had been bring a T90 up behind these BMPs. Oh, I jumped too far back. Where does he go? Here he goes for the wanderer. He decides, nope, I've got to do something to protect my checkpoint. Too many forces incoming. Although he was in a pretty good defensive position. I don't quite know why he'd give it up. Give it up, he did. And for his troubles, he got spotted by my T90. And he got taken out with so what did we probably use? Yeah, Sable round, 125mm Sable. Good night. Excellent. So of the 2 tanks we know about that came to reinforce it, there's none left. Oh! But this is a bit different. They've also decided to bring out another... oh, it's an APC. There you go. APC out to play. So we have at least one more, which makes sense. We came in with, what, 6 or 7? Plus a couple of tanks, so it makes sense that they've got the same. From a balance perspective, if not a realism one. I think this guy may end up having a pretty bad day as well. If not this turn, then probably next turn. Good. Things are going well. Okay. I'm pretty happy with all this, to be perfectly honest. What? Let's go into clan phase. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this BMP just to sneak himself up to here. A nice facing target in this direction. I'm also going to get these guys to jump into the building. Some extra eyes. It's good. Again, I think if he moves out too far, he's just going to have a bad day, to be perfectly honest. I don't think we'll make too many changes. This guy's impressively surviving our barrage, which I think he's managed to crawl away from. I'm going to clear your target. Wonder. Nah, I'll not do any preemptive rounds. We'll let him get into position. You are moving up. I'd quite like you to move out of the way slightly. My T90 has better vision, so let's move you up to there. I'll be coming up here and then just kicking out a little bit. We might find that if he comes out straight away, we're actually blocked by our own vehicle. I don't think it's going to be too bad. No, you are continuing to push up. I don't know. Just let little dog legs about. Why don't you do that quickly? Good. And I'm starting to feel like there's not a lot of resistance left in this area. Any other changes I want to make? I'll have to do something else with this mortar mission now that tank's not there. I'll tell you what, let's do something pretty ridiculous, but kind of, well, you might as well. Let's just do that. Just saturate whatever's left. I'll use all our mortars. We don't need it. It's a single mission, so there's no point saving the ammo. And we will push on and see if we can't get ourselves a nice little APC kill if he's foolish enough to venture out. Let's see how this goes. He is coming, he is scanning. I think he's just going to wander into my tank view. Oh, he's made it so far. Surely he's not going to make it much further. 1T90. There we go. And I suppose this is somewhere where playing against the AI doesn't give you quite as much of a challenge as playing against the a human opponent would, because that was just a foolish move. Interesting that it's still showing as a vehicle for some reason. Oh, there he goes. He's out now. Good. Oh, we're getting some artillery fire in these buildings. Probably to be expected. Just a bit of insult to injury. Oh. Think you've survived? No chance, mate. Oh. Interesting, and we have made some contact with the Ukrainian, presumably rifle squad. We're about to have a little bit of a knife fight in the forest. Although we do have BMPs in support, but we won't be able to fire too close to our own troops. So this may result in a casualty or two if we're not careful or lucky. So they are running headlong at us so far. Okay, we'll have to see how that goes. But they seem to be in a good position. And you're doing a mad dash. So I think we're going to do okay there. Excellent. That was another very, very successful minute. I'm very happy with that. Okay, I'm just going to jump in here from post. Just say I did try and run this as a single episode, get us through all the way to the end, but it ended up taking far too long, so I'm going to have to cut it in half. So I'm just going to breaking in here to say that it's a little break that's going to come in, and we'll finish it up in the next episode. But thanks for watching, and I will catch you in my next one.